Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Be Now. I am excited because we have special guests here today. Candace and Cecilia had some special connections this past weekend in Louisville with both Noah and Adriana. Noah had typed right before this that these ladies have a lot of information, so make this a sampler because we're going to have to go back. For Candace, she talks about astrology, and so she has a lot of information, and she's going to do a family dynamics thing, and so that's going to take a whole episode in itself. Whereas Cecilia, she made immediate connections with both Noah and Adriana, which is unheard of. So we're going to have to hear her story as well. Plus, it was her very first show, which was crazy. Yes, I know Candace is like, what? Because we've known Candace, but she's so busy as an astrologer. She's doing different things than what we do. And so when she's not busy, we're busy. And it's like we know each other, but not know each other. So this is going to be exciting. So I'm going to just sit back and watch at this point.
All right. So Candace, is going to have to leave early. We only have her for a great half hour here, but we want to give her a chance to talk about the astrology, her meeting with Adriana and Sharon, Noah, what she does, who she is. And we just had this conversation yesterday about astrology, but we want to go a little bit further into it. Now we know we only got a half hour time with her, and we also want to get in other people. So we're going to let her speak first, introduce herself. She has a really cool spiel about astrology that hopefully she's going to share with us. And then we're going to bring her back at another time. So we are going to just jump right in. And Miss Candace, tell us about yourself.
Okay. So anyway, just to give you a little bit of background about me, my undergraduate degree is in chemistry. My graduate is in nuclear physics. And so I worked for the government for a little under 20 years, and I retired early. And but I was kind of at a point in my life where I was kind of at a crossroads, and everybody has that, I'm sure. It just a matter of time for time, astrology, keyword. So I went to an astrologer on a complete lark. Okay, and I know that's kind of dated, dated language, but I just kind of went there just to see what would an astrologer say to me. Okay. And I have to tell you, I was so gobsmacked that I signed up for lessons that day. I went, I'm not leaving here without mastering this. Okay. I laugh because in chemistry, when I was in high school, chemistry was the first science class I got a B in it, and made me so gosh darn mad I majored in it. So astrology, and then I got my certification. I'm ESAR certified, which if you don't know what ESAR is, ESAR stands for the International Society of Astrological Research. So that means that you have to sit through 500 classroom hours about astrology. You have to do like a senior presentation, which I did on what they call horary astrology. That's a whole fascinating subject. I can get into that another time. But then I also had to take an 8-hour long test. And I got to tell you, I got to be sedated just to sleep for 6 hours. Okay. So my mind is going all the time. I never could shut my mind off. And but let me tell you astrology and why I was very drawn to go and talk to Noah and his mother. Sunday, I kind of had it was just an easier, lighter day, because normally, like Sharon was saying, I would have loved to have gone over and talked with them a little bit more, but people sit down at your booth, you're reading for them, and then you look over and somebody else is busy, and it just things happen. So anyway, so let me tell you just like what I tell everybody else. Based on the day, the time, and the place that you were born, the stars, the planets, the asteroids, everything is going to line up like that only once every 26,000 years. Or if you want to be more precise, 25,698. But I like round numbers. So it's easy. Okay, so a lot of people know their sun sign. Most people can easily say, oh, I'm an Aquarius, or oh, I'm Aries, I'm an Aries. And but what they don't know is they don't know where their moon sign is, okay? Because the moon is in the moon goes through all 12 zodiac signs in about 28 days. So yeah, we're looking at about 2.5 days per then. So based on where the moon is, that tells me your emotion, how you're going to react and respond to things. Mercury, where your Mercury was, tells me how you think, how you process information. Venus tells me the sign that it's in and the house that it's in, because a chart has 12 houses. It tells me what love is, how you love, what love looks like to you, and how you would like it expressed back to you. Mars is what you're passionate about, is what you'll absolutely go to the mat for, what you'll fight for. Jupiter are the blessings that you were given, and we were all given blessings. Okay, we were all given gifts. You know, the trick is using them. People ask me, the most common question I get is, how can I be successful? And I'm like, well, honey, all we've got to do is figure out where your sun and Jupiter are and see who rules the second house. We put those together, and by God, we got success. And so getting back, Jupiter's the blessings. Saturn is our karmic lesson. And I tell people, Saturn, just like certain parts of the body, everybody gets one. So don't be shy. The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are very much associated with the psychic gifts that really everybody has. Now some people choose not to develop them. If they're kind of ill aspected, as we say in astrology, maybe they've got, it can mean that they were suppressed when you were growing up. Okay. I realize, I'm in Ohio. Okay. None of the Baptist kids like me. Okay. Cause I just saw things differently. And, but with that, it made me understand that, this is a person, it's your roadmap. This is your roadmap. This astrology chart is your roadmap. And, if we do what the map says, we're going to find life a lot easier. So there's also transiting planets, okay, that, impact us because they're moving every day. So, depending on where the moon is, you might feel a little tired. If you have a lot of water signs in your chart, you were probably very sensitive to the phases of the moon. You notice you have more energy on some days than you do on others. And but what I'm really interested in, because I was looking at Edgar Casey's chart, and we all know, everyone knows Edgar Casey, right? Or heard of him? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was looking at his chart, and I said, telepathy. He had Uranus in a very very sensitive point in his chart, as with his Neptune and his Pluto. So I'm thinking, gosh, I wonder if Noah has some of those, similar placements. And and people think I don't want to give everybody the wrong idea here, in that there's only one combination that can make you telepathic or psychic. That's not true. That's not true at all. It depends on, as I said, how the planets are relating each other. So there's really no one fully totally correct answer. All we can do is say, hey, I've observed this, and this is this person's chart. And the chart, like I said, is based on your day, your time, and the place of birth. So that's astrology in a nutshell. And it's very specific, it's very personal, and you learn so much about yourself. And if you're not interested in learning about yourself, then honey, what are you interested in? I can't figure it out. It's like, okay, go. Have good luck with that. All right, but that's my Aries forward thinking. It's like, okay, well, you can do what you want, but I'm telling you. So, but does anybody? Can I answer any quick questions? Because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So
we do have a question that we did try to address yesterday a little bit. I have limited astrology. If I have a person in front of me, I can tell you all about yourself. But if you put it on paper, I'm not gonna lie, I need to use my star chart and all of my cheater programs, not gonna lie. But one question was asked yesterday: And I know that I did not answer it justly. I just kind of said, take a guess, see what you can get. But what happens when people don't know the time, the date, or the place that they were born? Then what would you say to them?
Okay, so it's really it's not very common that I run into people who have like no information about, you know, their birthday. You know, I haven't really happened across somebody who didn't at least know, like, for instance, let's say July 2nd, 1972. I don't know, whatever. We're going to just make something up. But, you know, time wise, there's actually okay, so there's something called the ascendant in a chart, and that is what they call the most personal point in the chart. It's very important. If you can imagine an astrology chart, or like a compass, where west would fall, okay, like on a compass, that is your ascendant. So your ascendant has a lot to do about how you look physically. It has to do with a lot of like your mannerisms, your how shall we say, your savoir faire. Okay, you know, are people going to notice? Or for instance, you know, because I can talk about my chart, because I haven't had the privilege of doing your charts yet. So I'm a Leo ascendant. Okay, and Leo ascendants, I got to tell you, we're a stinking giveaway. All right, we've got red hair. It's usually red to reddish blonde. Okay, I was actually guessing Noah might be a Leo ascendant, just because, you know, he does have a charisma to him. Leo ascendants have a charisma to them. And they're, you know, you think of the lion, but we also, you know, the thing about Leos, we like bright colors. You can see my orange. Okay, we like gold. Okay, so we're blingy with glitter. And, you know, so when people meet you, they frequently meet your ascendant before they meet your sun sign. So based on sun sign, as I said, with appearance, there's a book that I reference, and the book was written by one Rabbi Doberman. Was it? Yeah, Doberman. Anyway, he basically describes a lot of physical characteristics that are associated with each ascendant. And he talks about, for instance, like people who are Virgo ascendant, they're typically very pretty people. Okay, they're not very tall. You know, they usually tend towards like the darker hair. They tend towards you know, being in the medical or even like service, you know, oriented jobs. And I mean, I don't necessarily mean, you know, I just mean like medical, wellness, nutrition, because Virgos are very precise, and, you know, they're very compact, they're very neat. You know, you can, you know, Scorpio ascendants, like for instance, Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy was a Scorpio ascendant. So we're talking about the wide set eyes. We're talking about more like a square kind of face. I mean, she's very pretty. I'm just saying but if you look at her face, it's just kind of square-like. And, you know, but again, dark hair, because Scorpio is notorious for dark, but it tells you. And so based on that, I've made several, and, you know, people who've not known their birth time, they'll go, you know, ask for it at the courthouse, get a copy of their birth certificate, or ask their mom or their aunt, or, you know, whoever. And they can tell, they've told me, they said, well, you told us 7 o'clock and he was born at 7:02. Anyway, now I got you. So, but yeah, I can usually make a pretty good educated guess as to that, and nothing's perfect, but yeah. So that's what I would say to somebody.
Okay. I hope that satisfies them, because yes, I wouldn't know.
Well, you just don't know yet, that's all.
Because I never would have thought that our time of birth would have depicted how we look or our appearance. That's really interesting.
So I was surprised to hear that as well. And, you know, I mean, and it's funny because you'll find that ascendants and planet patterns and everything like that, they tend to run in families. So I had a grandpa who was a Leo ascendant, and if you've ever heard the song "Sexy and I Know It," that was him. And he was, you know, reddish blonde. He was a civil engineer. You know, don't be nervous. No shoes, no shirt. He'd still get service. That was him. And but yeah. So you kind of temper that, but yeah, it does impact how you look.
Very, very interesting. Do any of you have questions for her?
Please. Rebecca.
Not really a
Oh, no,
question,
I'm sorry.
not really a question, but as soon as you said you were Leo ascendant and that you were in Aries, I was like, yep, I could see it. It's like I could tell that you had that fire sign energy.
Oh, very much. My mom noticed it too when I was born. No, I'm kidding. I tease her about that, but yeah, okay. Well,
Oh, yeah, Noah had typed, he's like, I'm excited to talk more with Candace. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do, all the
Yeah.
stuff, everything.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be wonderful.
Yes.
No, I'm definitely excited now. I'm like, whoa, well, I do readings, but man, you seem intense. So I might have to do it from you because like I said, I got a little program. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a cheater astrologist.
No. And but let me say something. I mean, your software and your programs, I use a software program. Yes, I could do the chart by hand if I wanted to, but you would need a book that's called an ephemeris. And you would, I can't draw a straight line, let alone a circle. Okay, I can't do it. It's, when my mind works in other ways. So somebody else, I have to get myself a nice Virgo to draw me a pretty circle. And,
It's funny, he's not a Virgo. I don't know my signs. February 12th, so whatever he is. He can draw a perfect circle. What, Joe? Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Okay. So he can draw a perfect circle, but he also said, which you already know this, he can feel all of your energy. So he's just like, wow, this is a powerful group, right? Got it? Wait for my thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up.
Awesome. All right. So tell us about your experience with Noah and Adriana.
Well, as we've said, I've been really wanting to go over and talk with them in more detail and, in more length, I guess. And they did have a presentation this weekend, and I was supposed to present. Unfortunately, we had a death in my family, and I was just kind of not in a good place to present that day. So but they were having a presentation. So I sent my boyfriend. My boyfriend's name is Todd. He comes with me. He's like super supportive, and he's fire energy too. He's a sun and moon in Sagittarius. So, but I sent him to please go and watch, Adriana and Noah's show, and just tell me, I'm like, I'd go myself, but I can't. I gotta, you gotta make booth rent and all that stuff. I mean, it is what it is. And so, but he watched and he came back and he said, well, he says, quite informative, and he was, because, he's a math professor. Okay. He's not really, I mean, when he found out, to tell you just our quick story was, we were introduced through a mutual friend. And so the friend gave him my phone number. He called me and I said, listen, I'm not going anywhere with you until I know the day, the time, and the place that you were born. And so it's true asking, I'll tell you that. And so he gave me his birth information, and I asked him, I said, okay, so do you wear glasses? Yes. He's a Gemini ascendant. I'm like, of course you do. I said, so you had Venus in the 9th house. I said, you must have loved your time in college. You like to teach other people things. Yes, I do. I said, okay, Saturn in fall in Aries. You and your dad didn't get along not so good. I got to meet you. And I came home because all those things were right. I mean, just the 3 things. I came home and I said to Mom, Mom, I scared him off. He's never going to call me again. No, it wasn't true. He called me right away. But anyway, but with Noah, I really, I was really drawn to the idea of telepathy. I don't know that, I don't know if I'm telepathic or not. I know that I have markers in my chart that do make me clairvoyant. And I sort of work that into my readings, and things just slip out and people are like, how did you know? And I went, oh. So when I went over, because I always felt Noah's energy, I always felt it, he'd kind of stop and he'd look at my booth, and I would say silently to him, hi, Noah, hope you're having a good day, or something, whatever, just something like that. And but meeting him and meeting, his family, my boyfriend, like I said, he came back from that. He said, oh, it's rather interesting. I said, you know what, I'm going to go talk with them. And, I said, nobody's in my booth. I'm going. Today's the day. So went over there and, I think I saw on the website, because I checked out the website and everything, because I was interested, in learning more about, people who have, abilities that, what exactly, how does their chart formulate? What planets are all in play here? So, but Noah always had this very dynamic energy, and I know Adriana has it too. And it was very much a how shall we say, it's a little bit of an unharnessed totally energy just yet. Okay, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to, please don't take that the wrong way. I mean, but it's some like, what, if we can channel this, if we can kind of rein it in and give it something to go after, he could take over. So, I had no doubt about that. And he's Aquarius tends to be intellectual. They tend to be thinkers. Okay. They tend to be very innovative. And so, that's just, I don't know anything else about his chart. I don't know where the moon was. I at this time, I don't know anything about that, but, I'm very excited to work with, people and how they relate. And, I also wanted to say to you, Melissa, darling, don't feel like computer programs are cheating, because those are a very, very good place to start. However, what I can say about them is they can't exactly do what a human astrologer can do. And by that, I mean, the chart, when you run it on the computer, will say, oh, well, this planet squares this planet, and that means this. And it's a pat answer. Okay. It's how computers work. It's just a pat answer. What they can't tell you is how do other planets play into that square? Okay. It doesn't tell me how you feel about that square, or does it make you sad? Does it make you happy? Are you glad that you have that? Because computer programs are a wonderful place to start, and I won't say anything bad. I have nothing against them, but like I said, if you really want somebody to because you read this and you're like, gosh, what are they talking about exactly? And I'm like, well, let's talk about that. And you just can't do that with a computer. It's not wrong. It's just not.
Oh, I get it. It's like me when I tell people, I have friends all the time that said, that say I got new cards, so I'm going to start doing card readings. And the first thing I always say is put the book away. Put the book away. Don't read the book. If you're reading the book, you're reading human side. You need to look at the cards and what relationship do you have, and that's where I said with my astrology, I kind of need people here because I do the channeling. I need the guides. I need that extra so that I can speak to them. But I love the way that you're speaking. Now, two things that Noah had brought up, and it was ironic because it was right before you had said, I've never put them together, whatever. But Noah was wondering, is it possible then to do astrologies with two people? Could you actually find?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because he's showing me that you could actually find soulmates with the astrology.
Frequently.
So that's neat. So tell me a little bit about that. And then another thing that Adriana was talking about too. Now this will be for you, and maybe she can help you because it's outside of what you have learned, but she has given you access to. And also Noah has said, yes, you're not doing the telepathy per se, but what you are doing is the channeling. So you're at least getting it one way and able to speak about things, but you're just not receiving the information. You're not now. Okay. So you're receiving from guides, but you're not, there's something in the human realm that you're not receiving. So yes, you are doing telepathy. Yes, you are channeling, but there's something that's being stuck. And this has to do with, can you clarify this for me, Noah? What is it, what it is that that happened? mom must have doubted you in this, or mom had doubted something when 13.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, my mom is highly clairvoyant. My mom knew that I had it.
But what is going on with, this is where I might need your help, because
Okay, well,
I don't know if you're trying to talk to her or there is something with her channel. Let Noah say. So he just wrote.
Yep.
Okay.
It's his kind of go-to. He's like, it's a zoo in her head, which she even said that already because she doesn't stop. And so that was always my issue too. And I'm getting the chills because I'm thinking, okay, he can help with that. And I think he's already working on that. He'll I think I always say he reconfigures the thoughts where they're all still there, but it's like he kind of prioritizes them. So that may help. And then he can probably fill in with Melissa on that, on the rest of that. But that seems to be it. Yeah. Yes, I got a thumbs up.
So, okay. So you tapped into mom. You and mom can tap into each other?
Me? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very much.
So there is something. I don't even know how to explain this. It was almost, okay, so if you guys were to have a meeting of the minds, okay, so you're having a meeting of the minds, this was like 13 or something had happened. Mom must do ceremonies or rituals or small little things around the house, moving things, but it's like her ritual or something of just, I gotta put this here,
I go with
I
that.
gotta do this or something. But you got involved with this. Like it was just like, come help, come whatever. There was some, like you got some of your mom's stuff and she got some of your stuff.
Yes.
So now this is interesting because actually you have, okay. So you have the markers or you do have the telepathy, but she holds it for some reason. And you're not holding it, but she can utilize it, but she doesn't know how. It's like she has the knowledge, but not the wisdom because you have the wisdom, but you don't have the seed. So that's what he's saying is that you just need to get that back from mom. And then mom can have that. I mean, you can give it back to her.
Oh, sure.
But she is doing it, but not knowing that she's doing it or not having the wisdom to use it. It's something with the wisdom. But you have the wisdom and the seed, but she has the seed and not the wisdom. So you need to get your like, this is on a photon, like call your photons back, the light fractals that was put into her during that time, because you took place into something she was doing. This could have even been like crystals around, but she like, and it's being called a ritual, but I don't see it like a sit down, we come together and whatever. So like a ritual that I would have in my house is, yeah, when I feel the energy is wrong, I bring everything in to the center and then I redo it and ask the guides or whatever. You stepped into that and her spirits were talking. So you gained her spirits, she gained your telepathy. So she can hear the spirits, but she's not hearing her guides as well as she could. And you're not doing the telepathy as well. So flip that because you have your own guides. So just say, I call back I call back the telepathic energy and may I have that for the right wisdom and may she still keep what she needs or, whatever is going to be in your head, but that's what it is. So she can still have it, but you got to gift it back to her so she can have the wisdom, or you have to teach her how to do this. But this is mom taking, and I saw it differently because I saw it as like, oh, she's taking energy, but it was actually a swap. It was a swap of energy.
It is. We actually, I mean, like if we were to do a reading together for somebody, we feed off of each other. Okay. And what's interesting is in our charts, our suns are opposite. She's a Libra, I'm an Aries. Okay. Our Mercuries are opposite. I'm a Mercury in Taurus. She's a Mercury in Scorpio. And she's got a lot of Scorpio, so water placement. So water is that deep, intuitive, God, just know it. You know, when you know it through your toes, you know it, that kind of thing. And I think what happened was, see, when my dad passed away, when you asked what happened, my dad passed away when I was 12. And it was murder. It was. He was. And I knew that. I knew that. I went to the funeral home and I knew who did it. And, you know, and so, you know, Mom, who built up these wonderful protective walls around me because of that. And, you know, and I realized that I'm fire and I tend to be just that much impulsive. But my Mercury Taurus, because it's in an earth sign, it tends to kind of ground me and bring me back and say, whoa, 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 where do you think you're going? Okay, so I thank God every day for that Mercury Taurus. So slow down. But no, you know, my mom passed on, you know, to me her gifts. Okay, and but you know, together it is she's here. Mom, come and meet these lovely people. They all want to see how pretty you are. I told them.
I gotta say, Noah said he felt her, and I'm thinking he feels her energetic. Well, he does, but it's like, oh my gosh, there she is.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
You.
Get higher. There you go.
Hi. There you go.
Totally see it now. So you two have been together a few lives. I'm
Oh,
seeing
yes.
that total infinity string. So now when people are doing the readings on you, do they get you guys mixed up and they read your stuff on her and her stuff on you?
Occasionally.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
guys need
At
to
one
take
point,
responsibility.
she's been my
I
dad.
was her dad. I was in Louisiana, Boston. I was her daddy.
Excuse me. Yeah, it happened.
Okay.
I was.
You guys, and it makes sense because if dad passed away when 12, then how close were you then? I mean, that was within the year of you turning 13.
Well, yeah, I turned 12
I mean, a few.
in April, and then he died in June. So I was like, what, 12 years and 2 months and some change.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was seeing around 13, but you know, that could be give
That's
or
fine.
take.
You did what
But
you did it
at
right.
the
You
same
got it.
time, but I still have 13 in my head though. I can't like let that go for some reason. Whatever it is.
13, I
Take
realized
responsibility
that,
of your own energy in this life. So if you sit and she sits and you both, now this is something my husband and I do too, is that we'll just sit and put our hands against each other and we'll say any energy that belongs to you that is no longer serving for me, may it go back to you. And then the other person says the other thing and we gift our energy
good.
back.
That's
and
a
then
nice idea.
Yeah. And then we say we are responsible for our own energy. Now, I know that that's not going to hold for you two because you have such that infinity sign, but at least for that moment, if you can just put your hands together, call your energies back, and then ask for that seed back for a little bit. And if she needs it back, I mean, you two, holy cow, she just went by you. And
We
it was
were
like,
raised. See, when my parents split up and I was probably about 5, we moved back in with her mom and her stepdad, and her mom and granny, you know, her mom really raised us more like sisters than mother and daughter. So I mean, I always told Mom, because Mom was I said, Mom, you're the pretty one. Okay, you were the cheerleader. You were the, you know, she was actually homecoming court, like first runner up or something. And I said, I was always the bookish one. Okay, I said, I'm the nerdy little younger sister who, you know, can't get her face out of a book. And I said, but that's good, you know, that's fine. But my dad's family is, you know, they were, I mean, you know, my dad was a chemical engineer. My grandpa was civil engineer. My great grandpa was the engine designer for railroads. Okay. So it came right through. I have a cousin who was actually, he was older than me because I'm kind of the back end of the back end and of the people who were born. But he was actually one of the original computer scientists at NASA in the 1960s and 70s. And his name was Leonard Clemons. And, you know, he died before I was born, but, you know, I'm like, so in that, you know, it always runs scientifically. And I tried to suppress everything I possibly could, because I felt like if I wanted to keep friends, I can't tell them that I know what's coming, or I see ghosts, or when people would give me objects, I could tell you the history about them. And, for instance, they put, I'll tell you this quick story and then I'm going to jump to my other meeting. But I was at this museum. It was a museum for the afterlife. It's in West Virginia, run by a guy named Steve Hummel. If you get a chance, if you're ever out there, go to it. It's a great exhibit. And he said, okay, well, let's see. So he took a nail and he put it in my hand. I tried to tell people he didn't put it in my hand. He put it in my hand. And he says, well, what can you tell me? So mom told me, she said, when you're holding something and you're trying to pick up energy off of it, just talk it out. What are you seeing going through your head? Okay. And so I'm holding it. She wasn't there. Somebody else was there. One of my friends. And I held it and I said, I kept seeing the word, seeing the letter W, 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 W. And then I heard the stomp of like boots, coming down from someplace. And I saw a train and something about the West. I said, did this come from out of the West? And turns out, no, it came from Auschwitz, the concentration camp. And I asked him, I said, no, I said, somebody pulled up this nail. I said, originally it was on the train track. And then they pulled it up and they used it as a coat, like something to put their coat on. And the guy looked at me, and the man who donated it was a guy named Weiss. W. Auschwitz, it means west. Witz means west in German, or whatever, exactly, Polish, I think. But yeah, so it was there. And I tried for many years to suppress that. And then I said, no, I can't. It's who I am. And that's because I think I was telling Sharon just briefly, is that I always tease when I go to antique shops, I have to kind of keep my hands to myself. Otherwise, I'm going to pick up energy, because I have Neptune is exactly 60 degrees from my moon, and both of those would represent the past. So I can tell people a lot about the past, but not so much maybe what's going on right now. That's just the way it works. I got a scoot. I have to tell you, it was lovely. I really hope we can do this again. I hope I haven't overstayed my welcome or done this too much, because it does tendency to happen. Sharon, please, Noah, please get in touch with me, because what we can do in terms of like finding soulmates and such, what I was going to do is we can do like what's called a bi-wheel, and that tells you, like for instance, we can do, Noah and his mom, we find out where his mom fits around him and his chart, and then we can do the opposite. And then we could actually do one that's for the whole family. I can only do 4 family members though, because that's my software. And but I mean, I could imagine we could pencil in 5, because I know there's 5 people in your husband and your children. There's 3, 4, 5 right, all together. So we could like kind of pencil in maybe somebody's. You guys make that decision. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But yeah, so that's how it would work. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely reaching you. I want one with Noah too, because when he was like, Melissa, our charts, I'm like, I want to see this. That's why I had to ask you, like, could you see? I mean, we're soulmates in the sense we've definitely been a few places, but
Sure.
yeah, I want to kind of see that too, just to see what
Okay.
that acknowledgement is. Sorry.
No problem.
Sharon, you guys can do one too. Just when he's like, Melissa, I bet she could do the soulmates. We got to see what our things are like. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
And we're friend soulmates. I have like 13 soulmates, but it would be really cool to see if that would show up, just because I haven't had anyone.
I promise you, I bet it does.
So close to me.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
All I would need is, as I said, the daytime and the place. And if you don't have the exact time, don't worry about it. We'll talk about some things that, ascendants do versus one ascendant, and we'll figure out a good answer. So that's okay. Don't be stressed about that. Get in touch with me. Do you want me to give you my phone number, or my Facebook page is because I couldn't have one when I had, because I have it. And so yeah, get in touch with me. and I'm Nick, Nick Webb, WEB dash Parker, and that's my Facebook. My email is ladyvarson@yahoo.com. It's LADY, D like Victor, HARS as in Sam, EN like Nancy @yahoo.com. And my telephone number is area code 614-580-2784. So, hit me up. I'd love to do the charts. It's what I live for, the thrill of discovery. So, please just we'll sort out a time.
Yeah, and I'll be able to connect you with everyone because this
Thank
sounds
you.
like a workshop in itself.
It is.
So we'll talk about that. So yeah, I mean the
Oh, we're gonna have a great time.
Well,
I'll tell you what, maybe we can present this at Quantum Bliss.
Yes, we can. Mm-hmm.
Well, and another thing outside of this, and we'll talk later, but well, Noah and and
I
Sharon,
must
you gotta
go.
go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you again.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay, you guys have a great conversation, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're
Bye.
fine. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't want to shut off and not say goodbye. That'd be rude.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Okay. That was exciting. All right, now Cecilia, do you still have time? That was so cool.
Absolutely.
Waited so patiently. Thank you, Cecilia. That was really cool and interesting, though. I'm really excited to see a little bit more. Yes. So Sharon, what would we like to ask Cecilia?
Oh my gosh, I think
we
she's
have
just going to
so
tell us her
much.
story. Yeah, there's so much. She's just going to have
Yeah.
to tell you her story. Because me looking at it from an outsider, it's like, okay, Noah is staring across the room at Cecilia. It's her first show. And then all of a sudden he walks over there and starts doing a session. And I feel like I have to explain, but she seems to understand. So it's like, okay, me as mom, it's like, yeah, is this okay? And she's like, yes, he's fine. And it's, go ahead, tell the story.
Well, let's first introduce yourself, Cecilia. So
Okay, yeah.
introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, what your kind of work is, and how you fell into it. And then let's go into the leading up to your event.
Okay. Cecilia Cannon. To simplify what I do tarot reading, but it's more than that. I do a lot of things. I've been pretty good with energy work, really sensitive to feeling people's energy. And especially in the show, once I kind of got going and really hit my stride after a few readings, I realized the cards are just window dressing. I'm reading the people's energy. And, a lot of times people think that, if you're psychic or whatever, you're reading people's cards, that you're reading their minds or something. And I can feel them start to shut down as I'm more and more accurate, because some people are like, oh, that's weird. That's creepy. Somebody knows me inside and out. And it's really nice when I get somebody that is can reciprocate that. It's like an energy conversation, kind of a back and forth ebb and flow of energy that helps me be able to get them the message that they need. And sometimes in my readings, I'll get ancestors, people from the other side that come over and can kind of give me a message. I don't call myself a medium because I'm not good at, like finding a particular person. It's like if they come to me, I'll give the person I'm reading for what they have, but I can't guarantee that. I can't go find them. I can't call them up, on the interstellar phone and get that person specifically. But I get lots of impressions. Sometimes it's images. Sometimes it's literally words will pop in my head when I'm doing a reading. And I should probably say I've probably been doing this since I was about 15, so 28 years now. I come from an unusual family. My mom was a Pisces, very psychically sensitive. My grandmother was. There's four of us. I have a sister and two brothers, and of all of us, that we're each one of the signs. My mom has an earth, air, fire, and water sign as a child. And growing up in the house that I grew up in was so much energy. Like, we had spirits come through. The house was very haunted. We just grew up with that. That was, we knew their names. And it was like, oh, that's, Tom, he goes up and down the stairs. That's, this person, that's that person. And growing up with that, that was just normal for me. So once I kind of started getting out in the world and realized not everybody has these experiences. And so I kind of, when you want to fit in, you kind of start bottling that stuff up. But I don't know. I don't know what you call that. That's what I do. And so I think the important thing to say is that I almost didn't go to the show. There was some miscommunication and I didn't get my application in time. When I finally called, they were like, well, we're full. And then they got back to me and like, we have one booth open. And when I showed up, it just happened to be directly across the venue from Noah's booth. And so it all worked out like it was supposed to. But yeah, I was just sitting there and I kept feeling this, I don't know, this really strong magnetic pull between me and Noah. And he just kind of came over, and immediately when I felt his energy, it was like, I remember you. I know this person, but you can't think where you know them from. And so he just started, touching me and everything. And when he started to pull my skirt up a little bit, I was kind of like, whoa, but I can feel the intent. So I can't communicate with him and Adriana specifically in words, but I can very much feel the intent behind the message or what they're doing or what they're trying to convey. And so, I was just like, okay, it was very clinical, almost like being examined by a doctor. So, you don't get that any kind of impression of anything else. It's just very, let me fix your energy here. And at first, because he came over and he visited me and then he just went on his way. And it was a very amazing, overwhelming experience. I've done Reiki energy and different energy healing, and it's that and so much more. It's just indescribable. I've never had an experience like that in my whole life. And he came back a couple more times, and you just stop by different, sometimes very brief, sometimes for longer. And he kept touching my feet and everything. And he took my shoes off because I usually don't wear shoes, and it felt so much more comfortable having my shoes off. But he kept coming back, and I wasn't for sure if like almost like a chiropractor that aligns you, and then I'm doing something to get myself out of alignment, and I'm like, oh no, he keeps coming back, maybe I've messed up his work. And because this is the first time I've done a show like this, being surrounded with so many very sensitive people, and the energy was really, really high that first day. And so he kept coming back, and so I was like, okay, I have to make a point to go talk to him and see, make sure I'm not messing up something, not constantly getting myself out of alignment. And he communicated through Sharon, and she said that it's reciprocal. So like when he gives me healing, I'm also giving him healing, but I'm giving him grounding. And so it was a nice symbiotic kind of sharing of energy. And it was really beautiful. It brought me to tears a couple of times. But that was my draw with Noah. And then immediately that first night, Saturday night, when I came home, because I do my best channeling when I'm kind of in a sleep state, because I also have a very busy mind that's going a mile a minute. And so when I'm asleep, especially just right in between, that's when I get my clearest messages. And so I had almost like a past life memory of Noah, and we were in a temple in Egypt, and we were doing these rituals together. And I believe he was a priest and I was a priestess, and together we did these ancient sacred magics that, like, I don't know, that honored the turn of the seasons and everything. But we were doing that and we were working together, because a lot of the time he kept focusing on my feet when he was, touching my feet a lot. And the first time he did it, it was very familiar. It was like, oh, this has happened before. And that was what was happening in the dream, is that I was in all my ritual garb, sitting on like a bench, and he was there and he was touching my feet as part of the ritual. There was something in ritual that went back to. And so it was like kind of like a deja vu feeling of, oh yes, we've done this before. And then later that same night, I had a dream with Adriana, and we're sitting on like a bridge or a pier, something that was water. We were just kind of swinging our feet, off the side. And she was just talking. And I could really understand her in the dream. And it was so frustrating because when I woke up, it was right there and I lost it. But she was telling me about just everything. And so much of the stuff she conveys, because she was in my dreams last night. And it's very heavy math and science. It's lots of geometry and sacred shapes and lots of math equations, which just escape me as soon as I wake up. And there's lots of chemistry involved as well. And so she's like showing me these things and trying to break it down and how I can understand it. And it's like, I'm right there. I'm so close, but I'm just not remembering it when I wake up. So I know my subconscious is working on it somewhere. And so I'm just trying to, remember that it'll all kind of come together in its own time.
Awesome. Okay, so something that you don't know, and we've talked about it in previous shows, and I know you're just catching on to our shows and whatnot. Noah actually had an activation in Egypt. And Noah has lived in Egypt before. Now, yesterday on the show, when we were talking about your connections, or maybe it was before, I think it was in the middle of the show, but could be wrong. We talk about so much. He actually said your connection was started in Quebec and then went to Cairo, Egypt. And he was explaining that he's been in Egypt before, and this has been brought up by many different psychics that was one of it. I mean, and this seems, when I check into him, it seems to be his calmest place, or the place that he feels like that's where I'm at the most powerful. And actually, I'm going to say, with my experience, now this could be wrong, and maybe it's just the fluky people that I've met up with. But I do work with other autistic people, and they always go back to Egypt. Dane will tell you all of the gods that he has been in Egypt. Tristan will talk about all of the Egyptian. Scar and Noah, I know, had something going on at some point. So that's really interesting. So I'd like to see that, look even further in that, or, on a different time. I would like to look into more of that and see, or get a group of autistic people on to see if that is something that a lot of them come from. Do a lot of you come from that time in that era, Noah? You're saying yes. Okay. Yes. And then Adriana, my experience with her is she is one of the first creators. And when I say, one of the first, I mean, she was one of the ones that knew how to touch down. I mean, she knows how to build a universe. She knows exactly how it works, all of the equations, she knows how to build DNA. And everything that she has told me is very scientific. Now, I will say this too. There are things that she speaks about and things that she says that are in dynamics of the algorithms that are outside of this universe. So she speaks a lot about things when you are communicating, or when you are, in that dream state with you, that actually can't be brought back to this world. It is information for higher self and for your higher consciousness to know that when you go out, you now have access to different places. So the fact that you're not bringing that back, and also the mathematic equations that she uses do not fit into the number system that we have here. So you wouldn't even be able to write it. So you're on the right track, and you are getting that information, but do not feel bad at all if you can't bring it back here, because a lot of it is for you to understand here and is not applicable to anything on earth, but is applicable for the big picture, for the universe, and whatnot. So yeah, but congratulations, because her mind is a very interesting one to get into. And I know she does not allow a lot of people to do that. And she did say that over the weekend that the energies and the people that she was working with, they were so gentle, innocent, and pure at the time that she did not have to pay attention to what was going on so much in the human world, and therefore was able to go further, was able to heal herself in ways that she hasn't been able to, because now when I say she feeds off people, I don't want to say like she's taking your energy. I don't want to say that, because that's not what she does. But what she does and what Noah does is when they're in a room, they can see energy, and how he was micromanaging you, like you said with the chiropractor, is if you stay in this exact place, then I can heal you or activate you. But if you're out of it or you're not in it long enough, it's almost like you missed that gateway. But both of them work very heavily on the energies of the room. So if everybody that was there was responsible for their energy, was there with the right conscious field, and they were there for the reason of spirit, which it seemed like everyone was, that's perfect breeding grounds for her to be amped up, but not only be amped up, for her to see clearly who else can I work with, because for her to do that in a public place, that's pretty sacred. You know, we've been able to talk and to do things at home, but for her to reach out to you and then follow you in your dreams and then whatever, I mean, she sees you as something pretty special. So that's pretty awesome that you were there.
Can you hear her in the background?
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted, just because it's like, that was one of those chants. It's not the autism. And that was something I learned when James joined our session, the one that I shared on the hour-long session that we had. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet, Melissa, because it's a long one. It was Noah's healing, his group healing session. But Adriana took over, and she was very calm, and the voice was very calm, and be some of the repetitive. But James was able to explain. I would always explain it as, oh, it's the autism repetitiveness. No, he was explaining, no, it was still, well, just like when they're pulling up the TV phrases, and Drew had noticed that with Adriana about, oh, she's speaking like Bumblebee, you know, pulling the different things from the radio or whatever. Well, Noah's done, he still does that with TV, and more so now. She's doing that a lot too. But when this came out like a chant, or when it comes out in a different tone, James was saying that the ABC, when she does that kind of thing, it wasn't just toddler, it was telling us that things need to be in the order and that kind of thing. And it's just very cool. But I wanted you to hear that. Now she stops because I'm talking about it, of course. But it's just very cool because she's like, and it's like, okay, she's participating in this, has something to say. Okay, I'm good.
So, yeah, that's pretty awesome, Cecilia. It sounds like you had a pretty amazing weekend, and you were in the right spot, right moment, right time, for sure. So you're going to go be doing more vending events now?
Yes, I do. I've been reading tarot cards forever, but so many of my friends are like, this is your calling, you do such great readings and everything. But you know how sometimes when it's people that are close to you, you kind of like, oh, well, you have to say nice things, And so this was, like I said, the first show where I was just put myself out there for the public, and I had such amazing feedback from everyone. And so, I believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is maybe, what spirit and everything has been guiding me to do, that I've probably been resisting because, when you have earthly concerns, like how are we going to get the bills paid and how are we going to do this and stuff. But it's like, it's not just about that. There's so many more things that are beyond the day-to-day, understanding, that are so very important. And being able to work with Noah and Adriana this weekend is little things that I had like kind of touched on or had caught my interest before. Maybe I had, researched, read about a little bit, and then just kind of just set them down and forgot about them. It's like all of a sudden I'm getting these puzzle pieces, and it's like, oh, well, you're looking at the back side of the puzzle piece, the puzzle piece side that wasn't printed. And they were able to flip them over for me and go like, see this bigger picture. And so a lot of things have kind of fallen into place for me. And important pieces like edge pieces, corner pieces, with resonance and things like that. And so a lot of the times, when Adriana is singing, the particular pitches she uses, like it literally makes the goosebumps, everything vibrates. It's like we're all very harmonic together somehow. And while I think it was on Sunday, we were sitting down and they had done some belly dancing, and she was kind of mimicking those belly dancing tones, and there was just something so joyful about it. But every time she would do it, it was just like electricity through me. So they're doing so much on so many different levels, which is, it can be missed unless you're very, very open to that. But it's really just amazing.
For sure. Well, definitely keep up what you're doing because it sounds like whatever you're doing it right. So congratulations on finding yourself and accepting yourself because that's huge to do. And you are right. You know, you were talking, well, when I do cards, I realize that they're just almost there for a show because I'm reading the person. That's exactly what we need. And I preach this all the time in readers because I see so many people reading the card, remembering the card. You know, the Three of Cups is always the same, no matter what person sits down. And it's like, that's not what it was supposed to be for. It was just a reference of maybe you want to know that. But the thing that I've noticed is sometimes that Three of, Cups might be shown and it has nothing to do with the three or the cups. It has everything to do with that image that's on that working for the person. And so good job in recognizing that because that's a truly skilled reader that recognizes they're reading the person and not the card. And yes, when it comes to, you're talking about the electricity in my thoughts are based off of, from everything that I could see, light, frequencies and shapes, all of which you identified seen in her. Also, when she is doing her talkings, when she is speaking, when she is, making her sounds, it's light language. It literally is light language. It's changing the room, or it is talking to other entities in other languages. It was really interesting watching her do quantum jumping and jumping through universes. She has a very telltale sign where and then she jumps or she goes and puts her hands back and she kind of puts her heads up like, and those are her two jumps. And when she jumps, and you actually pay attention to it, which we do have on recording, she speaks different languages when she jumps, and her body language is very different too. So it's really cool. And I know she has something to say here with Sharon. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, she just wants to say, hi, Cecilia, how are you? And so she gets very frustrated because she thinks I'm rude because I don't introduce you or whatever. She knows you, but even just to greet people. So is that it? Is that what you want to just say hi? Hi. Yeah, hi. I'll have to go back on mute.
No, she's very, very comfortable. I mean, even just her being in the room. This is one of the more times that she has been on. And I think she keeps coming on for you. There's something with you and her that she's really excited about, wants to teach you a little bit more. She would definitely like to work on energy work with you and help you doing a little bit more of that.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. It's all things that I've kind of been able to do. It's stuff that I've intuitively done. I fostered a dog one time, and when we got her, she was in really bad shape, and we had no idea she was pregnant until like about a month in. We start feeding her well, getting her, plump, but it's all going right to the belly. And I'm not trained, I'm not certified in Reiki or anything like that, but I know how the energy works. I can use that. And so I would always just hold her belly and send energy to her and the puppies to make sure everybody was healthy and safe. And sure enough, we had 10 healthy, happy puppies, so I can do these things kind of, I'm a very old soul, so I feel like I've done these things before, and it's not so much that I'm learning. It's like I have to remember, I have to kind of get out of my head, get out of my own way, and feel and remember. And I think that was the most important thing that Noah taught me this weekend, is because sometimes, especially when I'm doing energy work, you can't really see it, and so I push really hard. And so he taught me very much that it's not about how hard you push, but just about, easing up, doing very gentle. Gentle can be almost more effective than that hard push.
And actually, never push or never pull unless your hands automatically do it, because it's actually very lethal to you to do that, because when we're pushing energy, we're actually pushing our energy onto something. Energy should come natural, and now I say this and I know Noah's going to kind of laugh because we have different techniques. But yes, surrendering is the greatest thing that you can do. And then tapping into the universe and then just acknowledging, what's going on and feeling that way. And you are right. gentle is really the way to go. Because gentle means that you have checked all of your energies, and you know, and you're not being intrusive on the body. And I think that's a lot of times what happens with healers or psychics. And I know that this isn't you, so I'm not saying that this is you, but they want to see into the future so much that they tell the future, which now makes the future not happen because you told them something they shouldn't have known, and now it actually completely skews it all. You know, or people that are connecting where they're pushing and they're pulling, now they're taking on too much and they're putting away. And I know he's going to work with you too, because as soon as I said Adriana will work with you, he's like, I'm already working with her. I'm already going to do this work.
Yeah.
And also would love to do some kind of ceremony with you, where you two are the actual leaders and have a group together. And that's going to have to come between a channeling that's going to be done between you two. And this is going to be something that has happened in the past, but is also adaptable to the energy that is suiting for the soul now. But I know he would like to work with you on that. And Adriana just wants to hang out with you, honestly. She's just like, she just really helps.
Yeah, it's I know she's teaching me and everything, but I get almost like a feeling of like she's just really happy to have a girlfriend to chat with. So we have that type of connection. We're very harmonic. I feel like a lot of times I'm almost more like a sounding board for her to work out some things herself. Whereas Noah and I, it's not necessarily like it's work, but it's much more purposeful. Like what we do together, our balance. Like I said, there's this priest and priestess sort of polarity between us.
Now I'm going to point this out again, because did anybody put this hands up? Because this happened yesterday when Adriana was on, and she works through our computer and did that yesterday and put up a thumbs up. And that was none of us. And this little thing came up from nowhere, and I'm going, what the heck is there? And that's where I have to go.
Quiet. Yes, it came up and she got really quiet. Like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
It's the girlfriend thing, because she was too excited to write. I get excited, my voice gets up louder. But so I run it through Noah, and he's like, hugs and kisses. What'd you say? This is so cool. What is it? But it was Adriana. Yeah. Oh, that you could feel her. She's excited that someone could feel her. So her body can't type with me because it's so overwhelming. So I have to run it through Noah, or telepathically, where she, see how she's quiet right now? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for you listeners on Spotify, what happened yesterday, and what is happening right now is that all of us, so there's 3 of us currently on Zoom. This is an invite only, and I guarantee you nobody else is on this except for the people that you are hearing right now. But Adriana yesterday did a brief, hello, I'm here. We spoke to her and we were talking, and I'm going to have to go to see exactly when this was to see what the subject was about. But a little thumbs up came up in the middle of our screen, and I didn't even know that was an option. And so I was trying to take it down, and I couldn't take it down, which meant it wasn't from me. Now, I had explained that earlier in this podcast here, and now it just happened again. So Adriana was again standing behind Sharon, and a little hands up icon or emoji came up on the screen. Now, none of us 3 did that. Not a single one of us did this. Now, this is something that happened even before, while I was over at Adriana's house. This happened twice, where she was working the internet. One thing that she did when I was there was she bought me some little dolls that the Hopi Indians had made, and she bought it off of KBID. And under my account, I don't know how she did it. She had no access to my computer. And all of a sudden I get a text message, which also was the first text message I ever received from KBID. So it was weird that I even got a text message. And I thought, what do you mean I got something? I'm in Indiana. I haven't been KBIDing or on any auctions, whatever. And I looked, and it was the Hopi Indians, these little things that they had made, little dolls that represent the different spirits and connection with the earth. Then she had told me that we were going to go see a movie, and was very like, we're going to go see a movie. And I had no idea. I don't have a television that has, like, I don't get trailers. I don't get that kind of stuff. I don't know what's coming out. And she came up and said, we're going to go see a movie. And I said, what movie? And she literally popped it up on my phone, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Or and neither of us had heard it. Nobody in the house had heard about that, but she pulled it up and said, this is what she's seen. And here we go again, where we're talking. She does not have access. She does not have the link. She does not have the link to Zoom. Okay. She can't even access it if she wanted to. So while she's standing behind mom and we're talking about her, and Cecilia says, well, I think she just needs a friend, you know, and I said, yeah, she just wants you around. She just needs you around and whatnot. All of a sudden, a little hand emoji pops up. That's Adriana, guys. She's working through the computers, through the Wi-Fi, finding out where we are on this Zoom meeting, working her energy through it, and then popping up emojis. Nobody even has that ability to do so. So this just shows the power of the mind. It shows the power of autism, and it shows, I mean, the reality of what human beings could do, and that our minds are so above technology that if we continue to utilize technology as saying that this is our number one force, this is like humans' greatest achievement is technology. No, humans' greatest achievement is of the mind. And let that be known, that you can come through computers, you can work through anything, and you can show yourself exists no matter where you are, even if you don't have access per se to it. And as I said, she works on the algorithms. So we're talking. Okay. So I'm going to let you guys talk for a little bit here because Adriana is trying to tell me something more. I can just see whenever she starts talking the telepathy, she always closes her eyes and starts, and I can hear her. I know she's getting frustrated because I'm still talking. So if you guys can talk, I'm going to hear what she has to say. She's rolling her eyes like this girl won't stop. I'm going to hear what she has to say. Talk amongst yourself.
It's been amazing meeting them and working with them. And one that really struck me is that Noah was saying that from before, and it just really resonates with me that yes, I don't know how many lifetimes we worked together before, but it's just his energy is so familiar. And even though I haven't heard him speak out loud, like, you know, in my head I can kind of hear his voice. You know, it's like you know, like when you email or text with somebody, you know, a lot, you know them really well, you can kind of hear their voice come through the messages. And so that's why I can tell when it's Noah's energy versus Adriana's energy when we're working together and when they're showing me things.
That's awesome. So no, I always sounds like Post Malone. How he talks, that's who he sounds like in my head. I don't know who he sounds like with you. I kind of want to know if there is a voice, but Post Malone's my dude for Noah every time. So Adriana, amazing, awesome. Okay. So Adriana is going to speak through me, guys, and whatnot. Amazing. So Adriana says this. Technology is nothing more but consciousness in a box. If you believe truly that the box is more important than the body, then you have not understood the reality and the way that energy works. What science has done with technology is found a way to actually harness the consciousness into a focused system that has the ability to output X amount of energy. Each system is limited or has its own capacity. It does have the ability to continue to grow on if you keep, adding on that technology. However, the way that I am able to work things and the way that I am able to do things is because I know all of the systems and I know all of the human consciousness and I know the algorithm. I know how everything's made. So it's easy for me to just dip out of this world and go up into the conscious world and to identify where what satellite and what resources is actually coming through, what waves of the you got to slow down. So the hertz and the waves and the frequencies and the designs of the frequencies and everything, they all have a certain pattern. They all have a certain color and they all have a certain aura. And once I can start to see what the rhythm is and what the pattern is and what the frequency is, then that frequency starts to come together and it starts to design a certain shape. Once I know the shape, then I can go into that shape and I know what consciousness I am. Now I am into the internet. Now I am into the conscious system. There is actually nothing that is separating consciousness and technology other than the boxes or the systems that you use. She's showing me radio, she's showing me computers, she's showing me different satellites, she's showing me all of this other stuff. And she is saying that this is just an expansion of us, but humans have been utilizing it a little bit wrong, because when we put things on the internet, when we put things out there, or when people put things like fights or angry or demonic or thrillers or things that would hurt at somebody in any which way or would go against the flow, then what ends up happening is that sorry, I had a note. Sorry, Sharon. It was like it's too distracted in the back. But anyways, I'm almost done, and then I'll mute you guys just because that was, I don't know what was going on back there, but I'm like whoop, glitched out. Anyways, lost it.
That must be Adriana stopping you, because she's really loud, and Noah's like, she can't slow down. And then she was quiet for a second. And then on her computer, she's scrolling through and she's like, this is great. The whole neighborhood. So maybe that is what she wants to,
Okay, thank you. Bring it back. Okay, I'm bringing it back. Muting you back up. Okay. When people are putting out things on the internet or even writing things in text messages or writing things in any aspect that is not conducive, that is not helpful for the collective consciousness, what they are really doing is that they are disrupting, breaking, and glitching out the consciousness, because that doesn't just go to one person. It doesn't just go out there for the people that see it. It actually enters into the entire consciousness. So somebody who has never been in a fight, has never been punched in the face, if somebody were to put on their computer and upload it through YouTube, Facebook, whatever, any social media, a fight, now that person has a fear that they're going to get punched in the face. Whereas before, if you went up and you pretended like you were going to hit them, they didn't flinch. But the second that we put that on the internet, it enters into the entire human consciousness. And so we need to really be very concerned about the things that we're putting out there, the words that we're putting out, the text messages and everything, because it's not just going to one person. Would you write this, or would you send this, or would you want your best friend when they're dying of cancer to receive this stuff? If the answer is no, don't put it out there. This is the problem that I am having as Adriana Smith, is that I'm going through and I am trying to weed out all of this stuff. And I sit on my computer all day long. I sit on my tablet all day long, just trying to find the things that are hurting our consciousness. And it comes down to these videos. It comes down to the text messages. It comes down to the voices, and it comes down to the words. It comes down to the lost history, to the like she's even showing me just one word being changed on a history paper that Google put out there changes the entire algorithm. And then we wonder why we're having the Mandela effect. And we're wondering why everything is being put together, because everybody is putting their own design, their own images, their own things into the internet. And it is nice because we get to do things like this. But it's also bad because of the fact that it's corrupting, and more of the stuff that are being put out there was bad stuff. But we are seeing the awakening, and we are seeing that people are putting more enlightening things out there. But please be conscious about what you are doing, because this is not just electricity. This is not just technology. What you are doing is you are hacking the human brain. Wi-Fi is the human brain. It is just a little few more frequencies down from what we register at on a human level. Because of the way that they have to captivate it, they can't captivate all of the different frequencies and all of the different images and all of the different things that need to be into one systemary system, talking consciousness again. And when we speak about consciousness and we talk about consciousness, know that we are talking about the whole, that there is no separate, that there is nothing that is separate. So when I'm tapping into people, I make sure that I already tapped in to all of their systems, and I checked that, and now when she's saying that, it's almost like she's doing a computer scan. Like, I don't want this, and getting rid of anything and everything. She's saying that you're a very, now when I say this, this is in a nice way, but you're a simple person. And so you don't have so much in your mind. You don't have so much in your, like, you're pretty good with life and the way that it's moving. You don't invite that drama, or you don't invite those things. So it's easy for her to tap into you. And it would be easier for her to tap into this universe and to be a person who would be, now again, this isn't the word that she's using, but this is the way that she's portraying. Like, I would be better accepted in society if I didn't have to sit back and do so much work on my computer all the time. The frustration that I get is seeing all this silly stuff. So I, a lot of times, will go back to the cartoons, to the innocent, to the nice, to the pure, because if I can start there, that's what like grounds me. And this is, and now she sees you as a cartoon. You're very animated, she says, and very like innocent, but make little jokes, but like kind of kiddie jokes, not something to hurt somebody, and whatnot. So she sees you, she's like, you're very much like my cartoons, in that you're nice. We talk very simply. We're not trying to impress anyone. We're just trying to be nice and be kind and get through our problems. And then we're able to do that from there.
I know that's
Adriana.
another time I feel when I talk with her, because it's very fast. It's a mile a minute, and I'm trying to keep up, but also I can tell when it's her versus Noah, because it's very much, I have so much to tell you, and I have to tell you all at once.
Yeah. Well, Adriana, I have to say, flipping impressive though. I mean, I've never, and this is why I love talking to these two, because I know things, like there's badness in the internet, but like, I guess I never understood, or I never thought I did, but I didn't. Only because when I do energy work, I see people exactly like computers. And if you were to ask me how I do energy work, I'm going to tell you how a computer coder, source coder does their work. And then I'm going to also explain it in quantum physics and, in science terms and whatnot. So I do know that, of course, yeah, we're all tied up. And I do know that, yes, the internet is not an artificial intelligence. It's the intelligence that we have created as humanity. And the more that we put into it, the more that grows. But to think of the concept of it is consciousness that we're tapping into, I guess I didn't think it that far to think if I put something of someone getting hurt, that enters the entire human consciousness. Like, I don't even know where to go with that, because now the human problem just that I thought was existing now just like totally tenfolded itself. Like, how do we get to the core of all of this so that we could clean it up and heal it? How do we take it back if it's there? Because she's telling me once it's out there, like it's there, it infiltrated our world. We can make other planets and we can make other things, but if that Wi-Fi gets into it again, then all of this data and all of this energy is going to be put back onto that planet again. This is her problem.
I gotta tell you, she just played an explosion little thing. It's like she's never played that, but as you were like, hi. Yeah, she was wanting me to tell you that she shared that it's, yeah. And then Noah had typed that it's a Zoom. Ready?
So this is where she's going, and this is what she does when she finds things she doesn't want. What she's doing is yep. So she is getting frustrated. Sharon, keep her playing. It's fine. Unmute her. I want people to hear this.
Awesome. Okay,
so Adriana, for those of you who are listening, is in the back right now with her tablet, and she is is very animated with her hands over, you know, to her forehead, fingers out, and she's moving her fingers. She's putting her elbows, both elbows up to her head. She is getting very frustrated. Now, this is what she does when she finds the algorithms do not match humans' algorithms, or it's not matching what humanity is matching. And then she goes in, she finds it, she sees it, she calls it out, and then she goes and she tries to fix it. So she was doing all these animated things, and then she calmed down, and then she went into her healing and she started doing her healing. And now she's a little bit calm. Now she's going to go to something else, and she's going to do some more searching on the internet here. So right now she's looking through her tablet, and she's looking for more glitches and trying to take it. It would be the same as, like, I know Google has workers that go and like take out certain things. Like if I were to write in purple hat or something, let's say somebody had made a porno, or somebody killed somebody in a purple hat, or somebody posted something that was super inappropriate with this purple hat, Google would go and take that off of their listing so that people don't see that. That's what she's doing, is trying to delete all of the icky stuff that should not be seen to the rest of the world. Pretty amazing. See, I just thought that she was working through evil within the internet itself, but no, she is actually saying, I am working on the evil of humanity and finding it through the internet. Mind blown. Amazing.
My last day.
She has any more, but she is working now, and she just wants everyone to see.
Yeah,
Adriana, play that again.
Play that again. Play it again. Play it again. Oh, hold on. She says no.
No, okay. You know, she just had something on her internet.
Wait a minute. Let's put you back on here. Hold on. What? What is it?
Hi.
Okay, we
spun away. We've been You're checking with Noah. Noah's smiling. Hold on. Yes. Very overwhelming.
Okay, so Cecilia, this is your opportunity to see if you can calm her a little bit. So try to send her some energy that is just calming and relaxing. She says you do good for her.
I hit
Hi,
Smith.
Adriana. There we go. She's calming it down. So she does this thing where she puts 3 fingers over her mouth and she'll start talking. That's actually not her. That's somebody else. It's funny. It kind of reminds me of the Bane character that was in Marvel, of just kind of coming through and speaking, but she'll speak through that.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Adriana. Thank you. I think she's done. Are you done, Adriana? Yeah.
I think successfully.
Good. Kind of.
She didn't like the angle of the iPad.
Ah,
But yeah, I think she's done. She's like, you've been on here a long time.
yep. I know.
This is
But I mean,
awesome.
it seemed to work though. She did calm down.
Yeah.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at her
I
now.
love people to see that, because it's like very loud, and then all of a sudden she stops, she's focused. So there's definitely purpose for that we didn't always see. So
Yeah.
then getting that explanation and having, well, like she said, it's the whole neighborhood. It takes a village. Everybody sees from different, I mean, the chills. I love that. Seeing from different perspectives.
Yeah. Well, she is definitely calm. She's quiet. She's calm now. I think Cecilia did it. I think you did.
Did your friend help you? Did your friend help you? Yeah. Oh, and she said, and Paramount. So it's like, yes. Love that. But yes.
Funny. I love it. Well, all right. Do you guys have anything else to say?
She's like, get ready to look for some clues. We always thought about that as clues, but it's like, oh my gosh, that's a whole different perspective. It's like, yes, lots of clues.
Yes. And Cecilia, pay attention to those because she sends them in very strongly. Just
Oh, I
so you
know. All weekend, so many different things happen with totem animals showing up and number sequences, like, you know, the 444 or 555, just so many of those coming through ever since this weekend. They're just literally everywhere.
All right.
What?
Required.
You're mute. There you go.
Oh, I said that was not me.
Oh.
You saw my hand here. I didn't know.
Oh,
That was
It
not
is
me.
again. That's crazy.
She did the thumbs up again. That was not me.
Yeah. Wow. What did you?
Anyways, keep going, Cecilia. That was your thumbs
Sorry.
up. Yes, you're right. So
Yeah, so I'm definitely getting the signals. And
I said, stay left.
I got mute.
astrology, I'm Capricorn, so you know I am the cardinal earth sign, so I am really good with grounding. A lot of people have said, you know, you're the most grounded person I've known. And it's like, I don't always feel that way for myself, but if I can help them to kind of manage their energies and maybe bleed off some of that extra energy so that they can do their tasks and their jobs a little bit better, I'm glad to help them.
well, it looked like they're glad to have your help too. She really calmed down there. If you're not getting affirmations, Cecilia, I don't know what you're getting. I mean,
Oh,
this is just, I mean, she is giving you straight up. So guys at home, again, we just had another thumbprint or a thumbs up. I mean, this is amazing. This is what she does though, right? I mean, she said it. Computer is no different from consciousness. And once you know how to work consciousness, you know how to run a computer. Cool.
Okay, so that one was Noah, and he said, yes, definitely. And he says, yes, you are so grounding. That was the thing that was so different when I noticed his connection with you and why we asked him, because it's like, what is this? I've only seen that super session with Melissa and Caitlin, where it's just they completely allow him to do what he needs to do, where a lot of his older friends have that guard just because they've been doing it so long. And, you know, and here's this young boy, you know, coming in. It's like, you know, they have this guard set up. Well, yeah, Cecilia didn't. And so when then he said she's giving back to him at the same time, because I thought, okay, that thumb up thing again, that is crazy. It's like, but yeah, so it was just so grounding for him. Look at his smug smile on here. It's like, oh my gosh. But it was neat because usually he could easily get overwhelmed from so much energy. And that has happened in the past. And it's just like he's growing leaps and bounds, but he's finding those people. I mean, we decided he brought you in. She brought James in because it was both their first shows, and he'll be on an interview later. But yes, we got to get these workshops together so they can just join in and help everybody else. And just like a mini session of what we had this past weekend, because that was just amazing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, over the weekend at one point I was able to sit in between the two of them, and the energy was kind of like you were talking about, that infinity energy. It was like we completed this circuit, the three of us, and I could just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of feel this flow as we all just kind of work together, and our energy just flowed so well together. And at first when Noah kept coming over, because I could very much feel the healing he was giving me, and I honestly felt a little bit guilty. I didn't want to take too much of his energy. And then once I found out that he was getting something back from me, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel so much better, knowing that it's very reciprocal. We are symbiotic and we work together and we can heal each other, because, you know, you never want to be just one-sided. And so to be able to share that energy just so almost effortlessly, it's just really an amazing experience. Nothing like anything I've ever encountered before. And I'm just so lucky to have had the opportunity to meet you guys and work with you. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future and do more of this.
For sure, for sure. It's already in their books. We just got to get it in ours. I think. I mean, if that's not proof that these two, you know, are powerful and can work beyond human measures, I don't even know what is. And if that's not affirmation that you are on the right track and they hear you, I like this just started yesterday. I've never seen that on our show ever. So that's pretty cool. I honestly just want to put my hands up the whole time now. And
Just so nobody thinks.
just so yeah. So we're gonna from here on out, when you see our podcast, we got our hands up so you can see. No, we're not doing it. No, I think it's I love you, Noah. I love you so much. Oh my gosh. But anyways, yeah, they're amazing, 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 amazing. And that's why we're doing this, right? That's why we're doing this. We're amazing. We're all amazing. Sharon's amazing. Cecilia, Adriana, all of us. We are freaking amazing. Y'all so lucky to hear us. I'm just joking. All right, guys. Well, our little busy bees, I think that concludes today. We will definitely have more talks in the future. We are not going to have a break soon, hopefully. We're hoping that we can keep up the momentum and keep it going and whatnot. But yeah, otherwise, find us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Do we have a Twitter? We have a Twitter too. I think I forget to say that. Sorry, Sharon runs that. I love it. But yes, so meet us on one of our platforms. Hook up with us if you want to be a guest. You have some questions, or maybe you want to share your story, what it is that you do, consciousness, and whatnot. Then let us know. Just put a comment below or message us, and we'll get you here, guys. It's not about us, it's about us, right? It's about the whole and our little comfortable little beehive that is here gathering all of the data and all of the information so we could go pollinate the world with our beauty. Go pollinate the world with your beauty, guys, because you're beautiful. Thank you so much. And time for our dance party. Dance, 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 dance as we go. Okay. All right, you all. See you later. Love you so much. Goodbye.